started. All right, well, good morning. Happy Friday to each and every one of you. Again, can't believe it's already June 16. So I'm just going to go right into the segue. I got this phenomenal commercial agent, Omid, with us in the house. And, just tell us a little bit of what you got going on. So give us a brief overview of your experience, Omid, and, why you got into real estate.
Sure. I guess at an early age, I was into, basketball cards, baseball cards. My uncle saw that I could find anything. So he's like, listen, I have this property. Here's a program called ChrisNet at the time. I need you to find me comparable properties to this property to go ahead and, for tax purposes, to go ahead and find a property tax numbers. And that's where it started. And from there, just rolled and rolled and rolled. I was in it, here and there up until, the collapse back in the early 2000s, got out of it. At the time I was doing mostly residential multifamily, and I realized, residential wasn't my thing. At the time I felt more like a soccer mom than a real estate agent. So, this go around, I've now been in real estate for about almost 10 years now, 9-10 years, strictly commercial, doing retail, mixed use, still some multifamily, and development properties as well.
Beautiful. Interesting. You said your uncle?
Yeah.
Did I hear you correctly? So your uncle is or was in the industry?
Still is, yeah, still is. And, he still, gives me little tidbits here and there of, what's going on. And, listen, in this field, you need to listen to the elders. They always say, listen to your elders, even when you're young. When it gets down to business, you've only been into, 10, 20 years I've been into it. They've been in it for 40, 50 years. Even though, their mindset may be more old school or whatnot, that way is actually the way, that is still working for them as well. And, longevity shows it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I concur with that, Omid. It's so true. Some of the seasoned experienced agents out there still have a lot of the inside of what it takes to be, a good, efficient real estate professional. So kudos to your uncle. Omid, how do you stay updated right now, especially that you pivot from residential into commercial? How do you stay updated with the current trends and changings of commercial?
It goes down to the network you have. And with the network, I mean, not just, other agents, but it comes down to agents, lenders, title reps, your clients as well, buyers and sellers. All of them give you information and factoids that are going to help you with what's going on with the current market. Something you may hear from a client saying, oh, this is going up here, you'll go do your research. As bad as LA City is sometimes with the reporting and, giving out information, if you dig deep enough, you'll find it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Love that. And what are some of the determining factors that you utilize on a regular basis?
Right now, especially in the commercial world, retail world, the interest rates are what is the killer. Interest rates, really, you have to get a seller's mindset around what the interest rate is now compared to what it was a year and a half ago. We've had 10 interest rate hikes within the last year. Luckily, we didn't have one this last month, but they're saying there's at least 2 more coming out this year. That does affect residential in some aspects, but it affects commercial, retail especially much more, and development, because the investor has to look at their bottom line. If their bottom line isn't going to be there, they're not going to invest in a property. So if a seller is going to price something too high and the return is not going to be there, buyer's not going to come forward and buy it.
Yeah, that's so true. How do you balance business and family life? I know you have children, so how do you stay afloat? For the people that are on the call, I'm trying to balance family and business.
I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old daughters, and they, for lack of a better term, kick my ass every morning and every day. I love them dearly. My wife is very supportive. But I gotta put that cell phone away. Typically I get home probably around 5 o'clock. I try to get home at 5 o'clock. Kids go to sleep at 6:37. I try to put my cell phone away, at least for that duration of time, just to be able to spend time with them. Now, does it always happen? No, but I got to try to spend time with them, spend time with the wife. Go traveling as much as possible. You close a deal, take a weekend trip somewhere, just let loose. It's a stressful job we have. All agents, residential, commercial, it doesn't really matter. Once you're an escrow on a property, it's very stressful until you get that check. Once you get that check, you can relax a little bit. You never know what's going to happen on the back end. But majority of the time you're good until that check's.
Yeah, I hear it so often. You're as good as your last deal, right? And especially in this industry, it's constant pressing forward, right? And finding new opportunities. And it's a connection, right? Connecting with as many potential clients out there. That's how you see some top performers like yourself and part of the team. So this is a segue now, Omid, how you connected with David, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, your experience and how that dynamic ultimately became what you and David have.
Yeah, so back in 2000 and I want to say 14, I decided I want to get back into the industry. And I started looking here, looking there. Crazy enough, I even looked on Craigslist, applied a few places there. It was a Saturday night at 2:30 in the morning. I'd gotten back because I was at the library all night. And I get a text from somebody saying, I just got your email, but I don't have a resume attached to it. I'm like, who is this guy? Ended up being David. So I sent him my resume right then and there. 5 minutes later, he texts me back saying, do you want to come in for an interview? I said, sure, no problem. Asked around who he is. David Yashar had a name in the industry. He still does. He's when you're in the industry for 30 years, everybody knows you. And I only heard good things. And I took the interview. He said, listen, if you want to come on, by all means, I'd love to have you on. I was replacing another junior of his at the time, another assistant of his at the time. And yeah, we just, we took off from there. We understand each other. We may yell and scream at each other while we're in the office, but we understand, business is business. But then, once you're outside, everything's great. Just gotta be able to compartmentalize things. You don't let things annoy you. Don't let things bother you. Whatever is said is said. You go forward. That's it. You stick one path and just listen to, just focus on what real estate is and what your job is.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that story. It's amazing. David is awesome. David is 100.
I think we've closed on an average since I've joined somewhere between 20 to 25 deals a year. Wow. And it's just been, we understand each other. We work well together. When he's not here, I fill in. When I'm not here, he fills in. And we just, we yin and yang. We complement each other perfectly. He's the high energy guy. I'm like, I'm there. I listen, and I let people talk their thing, and then I'll get it. Originally from New York, so if somebody really upsets me, it'll come out. But I try my best to keep myself as cool as possible and calm as possible.
That is so true. I've been involved with a lot of the transactions you're with, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And I see David, his high energy going 100 miles, where you're the more compliance, the more chill, the more focus on the point that we're trying to accomplish, right? And even your emails and your statements are so on cue as well. So it's that yin and yang in the team that definitely I see. So what sets you apart from other commercial agents in the industry? What's so unique about Omid? And how do you sell your value proposition, Omid?
So listen, in this industry, and I learned very early on, you can't be 9 to 5. There's a lot of agents who are 9 to 5, and they don't want to, they don't want to work at all after that or before that. You can't be. There's no way of being 9 to 5 in this industry. You have to put the client first. You have to go ahead and be there for the client. Now I say, that at 5 to 7 time, I take off. I don't try to suck, I don't try to answer my phone. And sometimes I do. But after I put the kids to sleep, I'm back on the phone, and my wife and I are looking on the couch watching something. I'm doing emails and calling people back, basically, who call me during that time. If somebody tells you I want something at some time, you better have it to them at that time. Or if you tell somebody I'm going to call you, at 9:30, 9:28 comes up, 9:29 comes up, you better be calling them right then. I played high school basketball, and I'll never forget what my coach said, basically, if you're 5 minutes, early, you're late already. And that's something that's always stuck with me. I don't like being late places, especially when it comes down to getting back to a client on something. If they email you, you better get back to them. My email, typically, my inbox, I try to keep my inbox down to about 20 to 30 emails. I file away everything else, and I try not to leave any emails unanswered at all times. And going back to pricing of the property compared to other people, as I look at it from all the angles. You can't look at just comparables and that's it. If you look at just a comparable, nothing's going to make sense, especially in today's market because of the interest rates, because of where we are in the economic environment we are in right now. So you have to take all that into account. We do a lot of BPOs, a lot of broker opinion values for hard money lenders. Because of that fact, I'm able to go ahead and give a little bit more incentive into a property than a normal agent would be able to.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing. So what is the niche? What type of commercial do you focus most of your time?
Most of the time right now would be retail. Mixed use, of course, where you have the retail downstairs, you have apartments upstairs, and some development play as well. The multifamily, we dabble in it. Since I do have the background, I know what's going on. You always have to stay in tune with what's going on in the industry as a whole. We dabble in it, but we don't try to do it as much as possible. But the retail, mixed use, and the land for development, those are the three biggest things right now that we're focusing on. The land for development, as of late, hasn't really been there much because of the interest rates, because of where things are going. But retail's coming back. We actually just sold a 7-Eleven L-shaped center in Montebello at almost $500 a square foot. It was just over a 5 cap. The buyer who came in, he came in all cash. Everybody who first came to it said, "Listen, there's no way we can get financing on this, because of where the rates are." So it is what it is. And I told the seller this as well. I told the seller, "Listen, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to be either an exchange who has, park money somewhere, or someone who's just going to like it, who knows, what the future holds, what's going on in the area." And that's exactly what happened. Somebody came in all cash, and, we closed that thing in just under 30 days.
Beautiful. That's awesome. So Omid, tell us a little bit on your daily morning habits, behaviors, if you want to put it in that perspective. But how do you generate those opportunities like the 7-Eleven as an example? What do you do to get, sellers to call you and work with you? And the team as well, so you can collaborate a bit on that too.
On a daily, I'm up at 7 o'clock basically. 6:37, I'm up. I go to sleep probably around 1, 2. Just answering emails and just making sure everything's caught up. There's only so many hours in the day that I can focus on everything. So that's why 5-6 hours of sleep. That's all I really need. I'm up at 6:37, checking my emails that came in. Getting rid of all those junk emails that come in the middle of the night, and focusing on the ones that you need to focus on. From there, I'd say from 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock, I'm either on the phone with David, Eric from our team, Pasha, Marzia, with somebody from the team or a client, or escrow or title. If I would see my cell phone bill, I'd be amazed how many minutes I'm using right now. But that's what that's what it takes. And then you wind down the day, same thing. On the phone. Communication is the biggest thing with all teams, and with all clients. The more communication you have, the more more things get done in an efficient manner.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the second part of the question? I forgot the second part.
No, that's, you answered it. So let me ask you, so what is the marketing strategy that you utilize? Once you get a listing, how does that look like? Do you have a marketing team? Do you handle it? One of your team members does? So give us a little bit of how that looks like for the people that want to pivot into commercial, or just kind of get an idea of what that looks like when working with clients.
Got it. So with our team, we're a little unique. There are a lot of teams out there a lot of agents out there who'll just outsource everything, right? We're in a unique position where we have Eric on our team who handles all the marketing, and we do everything in-house. We have one guy who'll go out, he'll do drone videos, drone footage, drone pictures, and then send it to us, and then we go ahead and we create the marketing package ourselves. We upload everything ourselves up to 7, 8, 9 different sites depending on the type of property it is. And the biggest thing that we've been utilizing as of late, and this is even prior to the ChatGPT talk we had, is AI. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. I mean, the time saving aspect of it is just mind blowing. Something that used to take you 30 minutes to do, and now take you a minute, 2 minutes to do, and you're done. Which gives you more time to focus on the next deal, on the next client. And that's one thing that we're really using now. That I'd advise all agents to jump on board. Even if it's not on the high level, just an entry level into what AI can do for you and how it can help you. It's just mind blowing. It's down to, last night I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if it can write me a script. I went on there, I'm like, listen, we have this property, write me a script for sale. It wrote me literally the entire script out within 10 seconds. It was perfect. And it was flawless. Flawless after I told it to tweak it a little bit, but once it tweaked it, it was amazing. And that's one thing that we really need as a community, as agents, as realtors, have to take into account and use it to our advantage. Not enough people are yet. Once you do, you'll see the ramifications and just how much more advanced your numbers will end up being.
Yeah, absolutely. Take full advantage of it. Yeah, thank you for sharing. This is a two-part question, Omid. One, what has been one of the biggest challenges, obstacles on a real estate transaction? And then two, what has been the most exciting real estate transaction you've been involved with?
The most challenging one, I would have to say this was last year. We were in contract in a land with a little automotive on it in city of Compton. It was about 51,000 square feet of land total. We were in escrow for about 4 months. Everything was removed. We were supposed to close the following Friday. We find out over the weekend prior to that Friday that the automotive building caught on fire.
Oh, wow.
And burnt down. And buyer was going to use it for his own use, apparently. So that was, trying to bring both buyer and seller to the table to come to, a mutual meeting ground, and how to handle, insurance claims, how to handle this, and that. It was stressful. Like I said, until you get that check, until you get that closing, the recording notice from title, anything can happen. And that was one of those things that it was just like, what's going on, and that's why, you try to close anything as soon as possible. Don't let extensions come. If you can stop extensions from happening, stop it from happening. So, that would probably be the most challenging one we've had as of late. The most rewarding one, And I did this actually with an agent out of the Calabasas office, a residential agent. She brought it to our attention. She's like, listen, I don't do commercial, but I know you guys do. We have this property that we've already identified, and we want to go after it for my church. It's in the city of Pacoima, which is in North San Fernando Valley. 400 seat church, which you don't come across ever. And we ran with it. We got to the point where we were able to be the winning bidder. In essence, there was 5 offers on the property, and we were the ones who were able to, get the best offer in, and we assisted that buyer through the entire process. They were very happy, and it was a good feeling knowing that this church, who really didn't have a place to go, now had this amazing location with 400 seats, and we closed a week and a half before Easter last year, so they were actually able to have their Easter services in that location. They were extremely happy and extremely thankful for it.
I love that. Yeah. It's always exciting, especially when you collaborate and, you connect with other agents.
Yes.
It's always a plus, right? It's not us out there working to try to get a lead comes your way. So that's
listen, it comes down to knowing what you know. You need to know, focus on what you know. Residential agents, I love them. But sometimes we deal with them on commercial properties when they're representing a buyer. And unfortunately, sometimes they know what's going on, other times they're very just lost. And we have to step in and assist them to be able to get to the finish line, which I had no problem doing. But if from the beginning they would go ahead and refer it out to somebody who is a commercial agent, take a little less money to get it done, but make sure everything is, correct. Everything's done correctly. So there's no issues in the back end either. Within the last couple of years, there's been more and more disclosures that have come out. There have been more, just like there are in residential. I mean, I remember a RIPA and RPA used to be 10, 12 pages, and now what do we have? 28 pages. So, it comes down to that stuff, and you just have to make sure as a residential agent, if you want to do a commercial, yourself, just be wary of what you need to do. I would recommend, if not with us, with anybody else, just go ahead and, refer it out. And if you want to be part of the transaction, by all means, I had no problem. Erica Thompson was part of the transaction. I made sure she was part of it. She wanted to learn it. I made sure she was part of it, every step of the way. And we got to the finish line.
Awesome. Yeah. It's always good to connect with someone that obviously has the experience because of the risk involved. Commercial is a different animal, different beast. And you definitely need to know the ins and outs. So my recommendation with any agent that doesn't have the experience is team up, someone like yourself, Omid or David, and work it together. It's a faster process because they know the ins and outs, but more so you have the reinsurance that the deal will close. So,
yep.
Do you only focus in California, or do you and the team also focus outside of California and do real estate transactions?
So, as of late, a lot of investors no longer want to invest their money in California. They want to invest outside. Because of that fact, we've had a lot more clients, both sellers and buyers, come to us and say, listen, I have this property here, or I'm looking for a property there. Like right now, we have a Dollar General listed in southern part of Alabama. And for licensing purposes and whatnot, we went ahead and found a KW agent locally. Teamed it up with him. You give him a referral fee to use a license, and you go from there. We've done that. I personally have done stuff in Tennessee. I'm a very big proponent of the state of Tennessee for investment purposes. We've done stuff in Nebraska. We've done stuff in Pennsylvania, Colorado, Texas, Chicago. We've done a lot. We've done a lot in the state of Nevada. So, you just have to be able to find, boots on the ground, feet on the ground that are going to work with you. It's not just the licensing part of it. It's a team effort. We sold one in Arizona actually a couple years ago with Hani Abdulami, and he was by far like the best guy we've ever worked with when it came to a property outside of California. I mean, he held his own. He worked for his commission. There's a lot of agents out there because you don't know who you're going with. But when you're working with somebody outside of the state, you're taking a shot in the dark in a way. But more than not, it works out. There are those times where the agent just sits there and he just wants his check and that's it. But it's okay. But overall, yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot as of late outside the state as well.
Amazing. Yeah. That's a cool thing about commercial is that if you understand there's opportunities, not just in California, but outside of the state of California. As you said, Omid, a lot of people are, leaving California for other opportunities in different states because of taxations, pricing, all that stuff. So.
And pricing limitations as to what you can do as a landlord, you can't do as a landlord when it comes to multifamily. But the taxation part and it's more the return on your money as well. With commercial, it's like I said, it's much more numbers driven. With residential, I love this house, but I don't like this. There's not enough closet space or whatever. I don't like the kitchen, so I go to the next house. But for commercial, 100% about the numbers and about the location. Those are the two main things you look at when you're looking at commercial.
Gotcha. So it's more calculations than the emotional aspect of it, right?
100%. No emotions in business.
I hear you. So what do you enjoy most of being a professional real estate commercial?
It's the drive and it's the game, honestly. No two transactions are the same. I know it's the same thing in residential. Real estate as a whole, every day is a new day. I worked corporate again, between my stints in real estate, I was working corporate as well. That's just not for me. You're basically doing cookie cutter, same thing every day. What's the joy in that? There's no joy in that. With commercial, you have to find, the little loophole. You got to find that little difference to be able to make it done, to get it to the finish line. Like I said, every transaction is different, and it comes down to also not only transaction, but the people you meet as well. Clients, you learn very fast which ones you want to work with over and over and over again. And within commercial, you're able to do that. With residential, it happens, from time to time that, somebody keeps wanting to move. But with commercial, more often that happens because of the fact that, again, it's an investment and they're not really, they have this property, that property. And it's joyful, it's joyful to be able to help them and know that you did something well for them, that they're happy with you, that they want to come back, over and over again. They trust you over, another agent.
Love it. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And yeah, for me, it's the not the emotional, it's more the calculations if it makes good sense of it, right? So awesome, Omid. Just final thoughts for the audience that you'd like to share before we close out. And then more so, Omid, if you can do me a big favor on the chat, if you can just put in your contact information for anyone that is working on a special commercial deal that wants to connect with you and the rest of the team, we would love to have that information as well.
Sure. I'm doing this in a makeshift in my parents' house right now because my 2 and 4-year-old would have been on camera right now if I did it at home. So my phone number is 818-384-4111, 818-384-4111. Give me a call anytime. And guys, I gotta say, the team that Simon and many have created together, we're all very lucky to have everybody. Jocelyn, Kim, everybody that we have in the office, Natalie, Linda, that all of them, are every single one of them, they're amazing. We don't know, you guys don't know how lucky you are until you've seen the other side. And unfortunately, we have as a team. No one's been as supportive as they have from day one. from day one. And then we've been part of South Bay now for about a year and a half. And it's just been amazing. You know, the support you get, the love you get, the technical, you know, just the resources you get as well. And the knowledge that, you know, Simon has, Manny has, everybody has, Jocelyn has, you know, I gotta say that, sorry. I gotta say Jocelyn's name two more times now because I told her. So Jocelyn and Jocelyn, there you go. And so, yeah, I mean, just listen, overall, you know, great place to be. If you guys need any help with commercial real estate at all in any aspect, I have no problem picking up the phone. And even if it's just a call, just to ask me a question, by all means, you know, I have no problem helping another agent out. You know, it's very, they say it's dog eat dog world out there. In our industry, it should be everybody helps. The more you can help other agents, the better you're going to do yourself. And that's the bottom line, you know. So listen, Simon, I thank you. You know, happy Father's Day to everybody. You know, it's going to be a good weekend for everybody finally, hopefully, with good weather.
That's right. Omid, thank you, my friend. Much appreciate you for taking the time of your schedule to be on this call. So I hope everyone got value. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to Omid and the rest of the team. They're a great resource. I even reach out to them personally when I have things that I am not 100% sure. I reach out to Omid and David. So again, Omid, thank you very much, sir. Enjoy. Happy Father's Day.
Likewise.
We'll see you all on the next Producer's Mindset. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a great weekend.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Cheers, Omid.
Thanks, Omid.